Hello, crafty friends. It's Debbie with Make It With Me. I just wanted to share a little bit of coloring. Now, I will tell you, this is a bit out of my comfort level because I don't normally color on video. I am by no means an expert colorist, but these I think really anyone could do. It's just a nice color blend. And I've had so many compliments on the way these sunflowers turned out, and it's really become one of my favorite stamp sets. And I'm working on some wedding invitations for a friend of my daughter who just really loved them, and that's her theme for the wedding coming this summer. So I just wanted to share, and a few people I had posted photos of the coloring that I did with this stamp set and a few others. And I had a lot of interest in the sunflowers, and it was requested to just do a quick video of the coloring. So it's what I'm going to do here. Now I'm going to try something different because I feel like, well, and I've been told that my hand gets in the way a lot. So I'm going to try a different camera angle. So just bear with me a moment, and I'm going to switch this angle so it'll be kind of from a side view. So hopefully my hands won't get in the way while we're coloring. So I'm going to do two sunflowers. I'll do one of the large ones and one of the small ones. I actually have to do 25 of these. So I'm just praying that my ink colors that I'm using don't run out. But if they do, I'm sure I'll find another color combination. But let's get started. Okay, so you all tell me how this works. I'm going to go ahead and change the camera angle so that when I'm coloring, I won't be covering up, my hand won't be covering up everything. I'll be using some Ohuhu alcohol markers. These are some that I purchased on Amazon that were recommended by a friend that worked well. And since I am really not an expert colorist, I can't really invest in the Copics. They're very expensive, and these were more affordable. And I have gotten really comfortable with them, so I feel like they work really well. So I'm going to start with the lighter color. I'll try to place this somewhere where you can see the color. So I'll start with this large one. And so I'm going to just start with my lightest color here. And I'll just give the whole sunflower. I'm going to probably do this in sections because I don't want the alcohol ink to dry too much before I add my next color, because if it's not completely dry, it helps with the blending. And I'm using the brush tip because I want to try to conserve this ink. And like I said, I have 25 of these that I need to color, 25 large ones and 25 small ones. But these markers are actually pretty juicy, so I'm hoping that that color holds out. And I would take this paper off from underneath, but this glass mat a lot of times tends to get a little bit of glare from the lights. And so I'm trying to kind of keep my lights low right now. The sun is out here, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful day outside. We've had a lot of snow. About 3 waves of snow and ice, and I have not been out of the house in a week. I think since, well, almost a week, since today is Friday, and I've not been out of the house and gone anywhere since last Sunday because we knew this was getting ready to hit us on Monday. So I just kind of got out and got the important things, the essentials, crafting supplies. So I made a trip to Michael's just to make sure I had plenty of adhesive and things like that to get me through my snowed in crafty days, which, I don't know if you all are like me. Now that was my lightest color. This is my darkest color. So you can see the stamp set already really gives you the lines to go over. So I'm just going to kind of go over these darker lines, just a little bit of flicking. You don't even really have to barely press on the marker. So I'm just going to use that lightest or darkest color, I'm sorry, and just kind of, it doesn't have to be perfect, just as long as you kind of just do a little flicking and shade over those darker areas. And I hope this angle is helping so you can actually see the coloring. I've tried so hard to keep my hand out of the way when I've got that overhead camera that sometimes you just have to really get right over, kind of like when you're stamping, you just kind of have to get right over top of it to make sure you're seeing where you're coloring and stamping, and sometimes your head gets in the way, which is not an issue unless you're not on a camera. But anyway, it's been really nice. I've gotten a lot of crafty things done. Okay, so that's my darkest color. So then I'm going to go to my next darkest color, which is the YR33. So it's going to be just a little bit lighter. And I'm going to go back over that and extend it out a little bit. And just kind of go over top of my darker, plus pull it out a little bit more. And it looks pretty dark on camera right now, but as this ink soaks into the paper, it's going to lighten up a bit. And alcohol markers they're so fun, but they're different, than layering colors over top of each other with pencils is so different than layering colors with alcohol markers. And as they soak into the paper and they blend, it's really easier to blend with alcohol markers. I think it's just one thing I struggle with is just finding that perfect blend. And these Ohuhu markers, which Mary Polanco is a YouTuber that I've watched color a lot as I was learning. And she recommended these. She has some Copics, but she's kind of like me and can't really invest in too many of those. I have probably 10 or 20, but I've gotten them one at a time. Okay, this is my third color. So there's my darker. That's my next to dark. This is my third color. This is going to be a 4-color blend. Still have my lighter one over here, but I'll get to that. So this is my third color. And then, I'm not using the chisel end. I opened the wrong end. So I'm going to switch over to the brush tip, which is what I'm more used to. And then I'm just going to extend that out a little bit. And go back over that. Fill in some of that lighter yellow a little bit. And really, I know it may seem like this color is kind of unnecessary, but I tried when I was practicing these sunflowers, I tried it with just the 3 colors, thinking that I didn't need this color, but I used all 4 and I liked it better. I thought it just gave it more depth. Doesn't seem like it now, but it will. So I was saying the kids have been out of school all week this week. So Nana has had a really long break from NTI, which is the non-traditional instruction that the kids are doing from home right now. And look, I went out of the lines a little bit. I'm going to show you how I fixed that. No big deal. Happens all the time. I know I tell you all the time what hand issues I have. So my hands don't always work exactly right. Now I'm going to just take my lighter color and I'm just going to kind of start blending from the outside in and bring those colors together, especially on the tips, because I want the tip of the sunflower to be a little bit lighter than the rest. So I'm just going to kind of go back over each petal with that lighter color again. And like I said, I've got 25 of these to do, so I just really hope this, especially this color. But I do think I've got a few Spectrum Noir alcohol markers that I bought a long time ago, which actually someone on another of my YouTube friends told me that they have the Spectrum Noir markers, the new tri-blend markers, which are a good bit more inexpensive than the Copics. And she said she loves them. She thinks they blend really well. So when these run out, I may give those a try. However, I've gotten really used to these Ohuhus, but I don't know. We'll see. I'll do some research on it before I replace them. Okay, so that finishes half of our larger sunflower. So since I've already got my lightest color in my hand, we'll go ahead and do the other side. So now I'm just going to do the same thing I did on the other side, and I'm going to color this in with my lightest color. You know what? To not keep this video so long, I may not do the smaller flower on video because I actually use the exact same technique, exact same colors and everything on the smaller one. And I don't want this video to be so long that no one sticks with it and watches me. But if you have this stamp set or any stamp set that's a sunflower, or any flower really, if you wanted to color it this color, I would encourage you to just kind of grab what markers you have, stamp it out, and color along with me. And then that's how I learned. That's exactly how I learned. YouTube, 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 non-stop. I would lay in bed, falling asleep, and watch YouTube videos of coloring, either with alcohol markers, pencils, watercolor markers. I have the Arteza water brush markers. I'll try to do a video with those too. Those are a lot of fun. And especially if you're someone like me that has hand issues and you don't want to do all that hard pressure like you do with pencils. Have to sometimes. All right, now that was my lightest color. So now I'm going to go with my darker color again. And I'm just going to kind of go over those lines that the artist on this sunflower have already given us, so I don't have to guess where they are. Don't have to guess where my shadows go, which, if you all know me, I kind of really don't pay attention to shadows anyway. My little granddaughter, who's 10, is such a little artist, and she tells me, Nana, just draw you an imaginary sun up on one side, and then that'll remind you where your shadows go. And I thought, I've probably heard that before from other colorists, but I don't know. When she told me, it stuck with me. She's so talented. She has a God-given artistic ability. That child does. She's been hanging around up here in the craft room with me since she was 2, and actually has her own space in my craft room, her own table and computer and supplies, and she still gets into mine sometimes, but that's okay. She knows what she can get into and what she can't. Okay, that was my darker color, so this is my next to darker. And again, just going to kind of go over that same spot and send it out just a little. Not too much, because I still want to keep some of that light yellow in there. I'm not really worried about getting anything over here because that's going to be brown anyway. And we'll do that one too. But you can see this is just really one of those images. You just really can't mess it up. Some of the little tiny images that I have, like my little, I think I showed you all I have a video here on my YouTube channel of, actually I did color that one on camera now that I think about it. So this might be the second time I've colored on camera. I didn't think I'd ever get there. Honestly, I've watched so many videos. I'm kind of over my nervousness of trying it. I figure, you know, if I try it, it is a stamp. So if I try it, the most I've done, if I mess it up, is waste a little bit of paper. But you have to start somewhere and you have to practice somewhere. So this is my next color, which would be the one next to my lightest color, but between my darker colors. And again, it may not seem like it's doing much, but you'll see as this soaks into the paper and dries, It will. It just makes everything blend together nicely. One thing about putting the lighter colors too much over your other darker colors, it actually pulls color out. And I don't want to pull out too much of that color, but some of it just to kind of blend everything together and lighten up the tips of the sunflower. I think I like that. So let's go back with my lighter color and just touch up those tips and pull those in and blend those together. I really hope some of you will subscribe to my channel and leave comments. I think you have to have a YouTube account to be able to comment on videos, and I'd really love the feedback to tell me what you think about this camera angle for coloring. It's probably not a good angle for, stick with the overhead for when you're putting your card together or things like that. But I think for coloring videos, this is probably a very good angle. See how it kind of blends that color together? Okay, so there's my yellow, and you'll kind of see how that's going to change as it dries. And you can tell in the back it's soaking through the paper. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our brown color. Okay, I don't know if you all heard that or not, but that was my husband yelling for me. I told him I was coming to do a video, but you know what? When you do YouTube videos, who knows who you're going to hear yell in the background? Kids, dogs, barking, whatever. This is what it is. Okay, so this is going to be my brown color blend. This camera angle is just kind of taking a little practice. So I'll be using these three colors, and again, these are the Ohuhu. So it's the lightest. You know what? I'm going to sample these. This is a good tip too. This one looks like my lightest, but let's see if it is. This is going to be a pretty dark blend. Yeah, that almost looks black. It's so dark, doesn't it? But again, it will lighten up. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is start going around these edges with my darker color. And I don't want it to be just a straight line, so I'm just kind of dabbing that in there. I mean, you could do a straight line, but I really want it to be a little more, sunflowers, the inside of them are not just a perfect circle. Well, they are a circle, but, the edges are going to blend a little bit. So that's my darkest color. And I'll take my next darkest, and I'm just going to pull some of that out. I'm just going to kind of go in a circle. Just kind of pull some of that darker color out of there. Now, I will tell you, on these darker colors, my friend Courtney Krieber, she always talks about the scary dark colors. And oh my goodness, I see what she means, because these darker colors, especially reds, I've gotten better with the reds, but these dark colors, oh my, you can really mess something up if you don't know what you're doing with those. Okay, I'm going to pull that out a little bit more. Now I'm going to take my lightest color, and I'm going to blend even more. Now in this case, I do want to kind of lighten that darker color a little bit. And again, it may not look like it is now, but this lighter color will kind of blend that out. And I think what I'm going to do, and I think it's how I did this, I'm going to go ahead and just go over this whole thing, this whole middle with this lighter color. And I'll let that dry a little bit, and I'm going to go back and blend that a little more. Now, I'm not going to put the absolute darkest color in this middle, because I don't want it to be quite that dark. Because, the center of the sunflower, when I looked them up online, and Again, I'm not about being all completely realistic, but I do want it to be close. So that's my medium color. Then I'm going to take my lighter color and I'm going to blend those together a little bit more. I don't want to see that harsh line right there. And again, I'm just kind of doing a little circular motion here. And I really want that line to be seen. I don't want it to be seen too much, but I don't want it to be completely just dark brown. Now on one of my cards when I did this, I let this dry and then I put some Wink Estella, just a little shimmer. And oh my goodness, it made it look even more three-dimensional. So I could keep going, but I think it's good. I think as that soaks in, see how that brown really soaked through the paper. So it's got some drying to do. But that's our sunflower. How pretty does that look? So I'm going to switch back over to my other camera so you can kind of see a little bit better. And turn my light on. See if that helps a little bit. Yeah. So there we go. That's how I color my sunflowers. And then the smaller ones, I'll do the exact same way. Nothing different. The only thing is I'll add a little bit of green for the leaves. And if you want to know what color I used for that green, just let me know. Just leave a comment and I'll go back and pull those green colors out. But again, I didn't want the video to be too long, but I did want to honor the request of the person who asked about the coloring, and so that's how I did it. And then this set has they have dies with them. I'll just show it to you. This is how it comes. And of course, I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, but I just absolutely love this set. And this is how it comes. Let's see if I can add a little more light here. Maybe worse, I'm not sure. But so you get the extra leaves, and then of course you can use these sentiments. You can combine other sentiments on other sets you have. But normally I wouldn't even worry about dies for this. But the reason I wanted the dies is for this, because you get a die to cut this, one for that, and you get one for your leaves. You also get one that looks like this. So I wouldn't use the yellow on this one, I don't think, but, and I have another video on my channel if you want to go back and watch it, but I kind of show a card I did with this overlay. See, that gives it even more dimension. And then there's another die cut that does this brown. You could just cut it out of brown paper, do a little ink blending around the edges, and voila, you got your middle done. And it's just really cute, really, really cute. But I did get the dies with this one. If you have a Brother Scan and Cut, I'm sure that the Scan and Cut would cut those out for you too. I do have a Brother Scan and Cut, but mine is the very first one that came out. So it's kind of hit or miss how well it does. But anyway, I said I wasn't going to make this too long. So thank you all for hanging with me. I may speed up a portion of it if I can, just so it won't be so long. But thank you. And please leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the coloring and about the camera angle. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful weekend.